The Get Down is brought to you by Digital Music Pool. Digital Music Pool is the ultimate record pool for professional DJs looking for the hottest tracks and exclusive hits updated daily in an easy-to-use platform. You can find exclusive edits from myself, Cream, Adam B., Andrew Marks, Angelo the Kid, Armin Averu, Chumpian, Dan FX, Castra, Pat C, and Samus J only on DMP. And we're giving you a chance to try their service for just $9.99 for the first month. All you have to do is click the link in the show notes or on the Get Down or Cream Instagram pages, create an account, and enter the promo code CREAM at checkout for your discounted month. DMP is my go-to record pool for new and exclusive music to play in my sets. So become a member for just $9.99 for the first month with the code CREAM and check it out for yourself. Click the link in the show notes or on the Get Down or Cream Instagram pages to sign up now. You will not be disappointed. If you love listening to The Get Down, you will love the video version of our show on YouTube even more. With all new audio and video upgrades, we've taken the show to the next level. On YouTube, you get to see our facial expressions, hand gestures, and real passion we have for this industry and for helping you grow your DJ business. Click the link in the show notes or on the Get Down Instagram page to watch the podcast now or search Get Down DJs on YouTube. We would greatly appreciate if you subscribe to our channel, like, and comment any questions you might have that we could bring up on the show. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the 135th episode of The Get Down, presented by Digital Music Pool. My name is Cream.
Gary W. here, and I am happy that you got the episode number right this week.
Yeah, we have our biggest guest probably ever, and I screw up the episode number for anyone that watched on YouTube.
Yeah, I was editing it, the YouTube video, and I was like, I'm not sure this sounds right.
Yeah, that's because I didn't have you there to be like, Cream, I got to check with you before we start. Like, what episode are we on? Because I never remember. But yeah, really good feedback on the Zuzu conversation. If you guys haven't checked that one out yet, I'd say definitely go and watch or listen. I think it gives all you guys listening a really good insight into how someone can grow pretty quickly, because he's grown really quickly.
He had a rapid growth process there, and it, not to say that that's the blueprint, but I think that it's a really good starting point for young DJs starting out that want to take that next step up in their career.
Every time we have a conversation with someone who's successful, I always say to you, like, you could tell why this person's successful. And talking to him and understanding how much work he's doing behind the scenes, for you to just be able to see what he's doing out in the world, I don't think you might not really understand that he's putting this work in every single day. Like, he posts every day, multiple platforms, and working on content is like a relentless pursuit, you know?
Yeah, we always say that, like, we don't have time, and then you look at somebody like that, and you wonder how they have time to still stay within their music career portion of it, and because so much is focused on that marketing side and that branding side. So yeah, it was just really good conversation, though. Really appreciated that.
And he's still putting out an original and a remix every month, which is also pretty impressive, you know? So definitely go check that out.
And you did an interview by yourself for the first time, which I thought, listen, you're 134 episodes in at that point, or 133 episodes in at that point, and you did a good job. Real pro, there wasn't awkward silences as much as you might have thought there were.
No, I appreciate that.
It was really good.
I felt a little off as I was doing it, but I think listening back, it came out really great. So
yeah.
While, we could always criticize how we are in the moment or like immediately after, when the episode came out and I actually listened to it, I was like, oh, this came out really, really good.
Yeah. So. Coming off a really big weekend here. Halloween weekend, just a lot of gigs for Get Down DJ Group. We had, I think, our most ever gigs in a weekend, damn near 90. So there was a lot of moving parts going around. Everything went really smooth. Shout out to all of our guys and all of our venues. It was relatively smooth across the board. one or two hiccups here and there, but that's expected when you have so much stuff happening.
Yeah, I was really proud of the guys and girls this weekend for just understanding what we needed as a company and making sure all the things we always talk about on these big weekends as far as how the owners are feeling anxiety and all the things that we need to do as DJs to make sure that we can alleviate some of that anxiety and not be an issue. And I think we did a really good job with that. So
Yeah.
I actually didn't work during the day this year, which was nice because I was able to kind of tie up some of the loose ends that were happening throughout the day. And it's important for us to have one of us be available to do that for sure.
I did a brunch in the afternoon in one city, and then I took the train to the next city, and it was like night and day. I walked out of the brunch and I'm like, all right, like it's busy, but it was a really nice Saturday afternoon. I'm like, all right, there's not a lot of people dressed up.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't going to be a great day. Like I was nervous, and then I walk out of the train station in Hoboken, New Jersey, and I'm like, like streets shut down, cops on the street, like lines up every block. And this was, I'm talking about a mile or 2 miles away from where I had DJ'd last. And I was just like, those like butterflies started to happen because I knew my set was going to be absolutely mayhem. And just realized the new scope kind of for me of like, this is what Halloween is, the Saturday of, like, whether that is Halloween or, a couple days before. Just the scope really got like crazy to me. I was like, wow, like it's going to be a serious day.
Yeah.
And then I was afraid it wasn't going to translate into the night, and then it did.
I think it's just become the biggest weekend of the year. The Saturday of Halloween weekend is the biggest day of the year for our industry. I looked at some of the numbers from some of the places that we work at, and like, yeah, the numbers would say it was the biggest day of the year. Like crazy, crazy high tallies.
I don't know that in leading up to this weekend, I knew it was a big weekend, but I don't know if I put enough onus on how important it was.
It's changed though. It didn't used to be like this.
No, it wasn't. And the surprising part of Saturday for me was that we've been in a tailspin in the Northeast area with nightlife. There's been 7 weeks in a row in the New York City, New Jersey area of rain, which I think has put, no pun intended, a damper on the people that are coming out. So I'm like, I looked at the weather and it was like, wow, it's going to be like 75 or 80 degrees. It's going to be insane. Right. Or it should be insane. And the people turned out. And that question mark is nightlife dying, I think was answered that night where like, it's not. I just think that people are, as we always say, looking for that little extra. And Halloween gives you that little extra. Every venue's decorated. Everybody's got a whole bunch of stuff going on outside as far as decorations concerned. Everybody's dressed up. So that gives a little extra oomph to the night and the day. So I think it's that having a lot of those extra things involved, plus all the hype that goes around Halloween too. People have become big, like spooky season, quote unquote, fans, and it's just become more commercialized, I guess.
Yeah, like you said, it's an event. It's something out of the ordinary. It's something exciting. It's something different. And the day parties on Halloween Saturday are just as big as the night parties. And where we live here in Hoboken, we've had SantaCons and Leprechauns, and those days used to be the massive days where everyone was out and the lines were down the block, and they're not anymore. But Halloween Saturday is. So things just kind of changed and shifted as far as what's popular and where people are coming out, and it just is the biggest day of the year. And I think there's some things that as DJs and business owners that we should really be kind of thinking about leading into this next year.
So what I said to you before we started recording here is that I'd really like to start, and I think everybody should really start thinking about Halloween probably somewhere around Labor Day, right? Make sure that, if you're a resident somewhere, make sure that you don't book a wedding on that Saturday, because it's still wedding season, right? And some of us do dabble in both privates and nightlife. So if you're a resident at a place, like you probably going to want to be at your venue that night. You have to understand your value and your importance to the venue, being the face of that venue for that day, right? People are still going to come out and see you, and then tenfold more. Are you the draw? I wouldn't say that you're the draw, but I think there's a comfort level to your management and your ownership in having your resident at the venue. And I think that's the important part. It's not the fact that people are coming to see you specifically. Some are, but I think the important part is the security blanket that you are for the management and ownership.
Yeah, as a resident DJ, these are the days that you cash in, right? Like these are the days where, all right, maybe you've played a bunch of weeks in a row that weren't the best, but you know it's going to be slammed on these big days. And that's why you're a resident DJ, and that's why most of the time you're going to have first choice on whether you're going to work these big events or not.
Yeah, the reason I bring it up is because I filled in for one of our residents at one of our venues, and I DJ at this place regularly, just not on Saturdays, usually on Fridays. And it was the best time that I've had in this venue in years. Because I was talking to one of the owners and telling him about how my night went. And I was playing peak hour 1 hour into my set. It was 10 p.m. and I was in peak hour records. And you have that energy in the room. Like you have, you start, which we'll talk a little bit about like music format on these big days, because it is a little different. It felt like a New Year's Eve where I walked in and I was like, boom, I'm going for it right from the get-go, because everybody's excited to be there. Everybody's dressed up. Everybody's taking pictures and video, and you can get away playing sing-alongs early. And, it's your format's kind of different.
Well, let's get into the format. I was telling all the DJs that I spoke to and, the openers at Birch, this is not a regular Saturday night. You're going to go there. I don't care if you burn me.
Right.
There's really no burning, because the peak hour is, like you said, 1 hour into the set. It's going to take people time to get into the building, but by the time you're 1 hour into your set on these big holidays, it's go time. And whether you're the opener or the headliner, I think you need to play the music that fits where you're at in the night. And on these holidays, 1 hour into your set is peak.
Yeah, because you want to set the tone. You want to set the tone positively for the rest of the night, right? Like, people are committed to your venue, yes. And this year, more than ever, every one of the venues had a line up a city block and around.
Right. If you're buying tickets or you're buying bottles, that group of people is committing. So if you're selling 1,000 tickets, are people going to go wait in line at another venue for 2 hours after waiting in line at one place to get in? Or they're not. So the people that are in the room are going to be in the room.
But and then this owner that I spoke to made a great point. They want to have their big groups back year in and year out. They want to have repeat customers every Halloween. That was an amazing Halloween. The music was great. The decoration was great. The theming was great. And I'm going to go back there next year. It's really important that you're vying for that repeat business, because of exactly what we just said. Everywhere is packed.
Yeah.
Right? So you're doing it well, but so are 10 other places. So make sure that you're doing, your best as far as your music format's concerned. Let's talk about, because I played a bunch of Halloween edits, because I feel like it's one of those things where, and they didn't go off particularly well.
They never go off, Gary.
There was a ski edit that I played at a couple of places that it actually had a good build, where it had a slow build into the song, and people got excited when the actual song dropped in, which was pretty cool. I liked it. It was like a Purge ski edit. I forgot whose edit it was, and it went well. And I know you hate.
Was it mine? I use Purge every year to make the one edit that I have to make for DMP. All right, mini rant time for me.
Yeah,
I fucking hate with a passion all of these dumb holiday edits. Halloween are probably the worst. The worst. They're so bad. I can listen to 50 of these that are on the record pools, and maybe one or two are okay. They're all overly complicated. They're ridiculous. You play them and people don't even know what's happening. I hate them. I didn't play any this year because I didn't want to. And I just made it a point to not play them because I hate them so much.
I played the same three. The ski one I talked about. I played a Disturbia Rihanna Sinister Strings remix. It's a house song from like 98 or something like that, which I really like that song. And it just needed like a pop version, and then it's good for Halloween. And then Thriller, obviously. Like, I used Thriller as a bathroom break twice.
I played a Thriller remix when we started our costume contest as like background because I was just going to play the whole song and it was low while we were doing the contest.
Yeah, I did it. I did it as a bathroom break. It's almost a 6-minute song. I was like, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
Or else I wasn't getting to the bathroom and getting back. I still got back with 30 seconds left both times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is nerve-wracking.
You got to get the security to walk you down in those situations.
Security at the one place was non-existent. So,
all right, there you go. No, but honestly, like, simpler the better for me on these edits, guys. Like, come on, if we're all making holiday edits for New Year's Eve, can we please just make them more simple? Like, I don't need the tone. Like, the tone plays to me are the worst. Like, they drive me crazy. I hate them.
Old Lang Syne tone play.
Just
everybody
please,
does.
just please,
Knock
enough. Digital Music Pool, I apologize. Sorry.
Yeah, they have their contest and whatnot.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to. The contest is great, but it doesn't have to. You don't have to make Halloween edits for the contest.
The contest is great because it does whittle it down for us. Like, we don't have to go through all 99,000 of them. They have to make that decision, which is nice. Man, but
So wait, so we're talking. Let's stick with the music stuff, right? So actually, let's not. I want to talk about pricing first.
Yeah, let's talk about pricing. Let's talk about, like, you know, we talked about a little bit of like how it's become big, and like New Year's Eve we've seen kind of fall off in years past, and we all go here at least double rate for New Year's Eve. Now I'm seeing Halloween kind of surpass the popularity within the nightlife scene. I know some people do it, but it's not an across the board thing in our market to where we mark up our prices on Halloween weekend, and I really am adamant about marking it up a little bit for this year and for years moving forward.
Yeah, I think as DJs, we have to at least try to get more money on all of these holiday weekends. And the easiest way to do it would just be, you know, if you're a resident somewhere and that's the place that you're going to go play it, you just have a simple conversation like, hey, I want to be here. I have offers for more money at other places. It's a big weekend. We're going to make a lot of money, but I want to be here. Can we do X rate? Even if you don't have those offers, let them know you have those offers.
Yeah.
Like, because when venue owners are coming to Gary and I and saying, well, I need your best DJ. Like, if the venue owners are coming and saying, I need your best DJ, then we know that there is a demand for DJs on this day. And we also know that we can price accordingly. So our best DJs get paid the best, right? Like, there's a reason why there are best DJs. So you got to price up on especially Halloween now moving forward.
Yeah. And be ready to explain why you deserve more money, not just that I got other offers. I think that really being specific on why it's important to have great music at your venue. And we had just talked about why having good music at a venue is important, because you do want that repeat customer next year. I think being very clear and specific with the ownership as to why it's important to give you the extra $200 or $250, which they're going to make anyway. They're going to double and triple their regular revenue on these days. You might as well capitalize on that.
Right. And you have to think like an owner when you're having this conversation, and you want to point out things that are going to make the owner's light bulb light up, right? You're going to be comfortable. I know everyone here. I know the staff. I know what music works. I'll be able to keep people here longer, and you're going to make more money because of that. I know as a business, we're going to make a ton of money today. Can we bump my number up 200, 300, 400, 500, whatever the number is, whatever you're going to try and go for. If on New Year's Eve, you're getting double from these places, start it double. Like, whatever you're getting upcharge on New Year's, I think we now need to try and get upcharge on Halloween.
We saw in our market, we saw venues taking, they had a cover charge.
Insane cover charges.
So whenever there's a cover charge like that, you should not be getting the same normal rate. I mean, they're making money at the door. They're going to cover their entertainment at the door in, the first 15 people or whatever it might be. That's how big these cover charges were this year. So you could take that into consideration when having these conversations as well. And just saying, hey, listen, you're taking money at the door. Like, I either, you could say I want a percentage, or just pay me the extra $250 or whatever the number might be, depending on the place. But I was unaware of the cover charges until after the fact. And these places were $40 cover charges, $25, $30. They usually don't have cover charges, and they're charging all this money. People are paying it no problem, and there's still a line around the block.
Yeah.
So, like, if they want to be so attentive on like how the music is, and they want to be nitpicky on who the DJ is, well, we could start naming your price at that point.
We were saying, like, we were thinking about setting up like a bidding process for next year, literally, because you want our best DJs, place a bid. Like, what's the number for us to lock our best DJ into your venue? You know what I mean? Like,
I think it was really telling that the 3 owners that I can think of that hit us up and said, quote unquote, I need your best DJs, or give me a really good DJ tonight, were our 3 like least paying venues. And it's hard to say, well, you don't pay us enough money as is. Nobody wants to come work there, kind of a thing. That's hard to say to
but they need to hear it.
Yeah. There are ways to go about it.
Right. You don't have to be that blunt, but like, I think the easy way to have that conversation is, well, there's a lot of other venues that are offering a lot more money for that person to come DJ at another venue.
Yeah,
so
100%.
If you want that person, you need to be in this range of pricing. Or if you want someone like that person, you need to be in a specific range of pricing.
So as the DJ, when talking to the owner, you're saying, hey, you just say, hey, I got this offer at this place, whether it should be a competitor, right? Like, you can name a venue within that same town.
I wouldn't even name a venue. I would just say I have another offer in town for this much money, but I'd rather be here. So if can you match that number, or can you do this number, or whatever?
Yeah, that's a good way to go about it, actually.
The owners now know that they're going to make so much money on this day. If they really want you, $200 means nothing, literally.
Yeah.
It's like 0.00001% of
now knowing
how much money they're going to make on
now
the weekend.
Knowing the numbers, it's a little easier to ask for more money.
Yeah.
So,
what kind of music did you play this weekend? Was it different from what you would normally do? Were you playing more fun for the daytime stuff?
I played 2 vastly different venues, right? And that's the reason why my sets were so very different. I had a younger just a younger crowd, like a 21 to 25 in my afternoon set. I found that I can get away with more like bar style music, sing along EDM, and I was playing sing along EDM that has like weird vocals on it that people could sing along to. That really, really, really worked. That doesn't work at my night set at all.
Yeah.
Because they look at it as, wow, that's like young 21-year-old music, and it's just not, it's like frowned upon in that venue.
Yeah.
So I was bigger, though, than I normally am. I did play some EDM stuff that had like more vocals that were related to the place that I was at. Just a fun set. Like, that's how I want to go in and think about these sets, is just have fun, have a lot of energy, and make sure people can sing along, I feel like, because people are really engaged on the night. They're excited to be out, like I said before, and they want to be there, and try to kind of reel them back in and have them have as much fun as possible. And maybe you could reel them back in for the following weekend. Like I said, we haven't been having the best weeks anyway. So if you put your best foot forward on these weekends, and maybe it provides a little bit of a propel down the next
right. Like maybe
weeks.
this past weekend will kickstart the industry a little bit for the remainder of the year. Because like you said earlier, numbers are down across the board. I've talked to DJs in multiple markets. It's not just our area. It's all over the place, and it sucks, right? Like, we've had some slower rooms. We've had a lot less people coming out. So I think you're right. I hope that this will jumpstart at least through the new year, like through New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see.
Something I wanted to talk about too, because I did play a lot of like this, I don't want to call it new stuff, except DJs that are listening to this, we've all been playing this 140 to 150 for a while now, but I feel like it's come so into the mainstream recently that, all the Ice Spice stuff, and then Jersey Club obviously here always goes off.
Right.
And then now like the all the 70 BPM stuff from like the early 2000s can still hit again. And I find that like a lot of that stuff works, but it was only working for me like in doses. So I felt like I wasn't going to lose the room this weekend, but I did have a set last week where I stayed in it too long. And then I actually played that Skrillex record that's 138 or 140. It's a Fine Day. No. Did not. Like, it cleared my dance floor pretty much.
Yeah, you told me after last weekend, like, that was the song.
I mean, I just
Great
knew it.
song.
I love it.
But maybe just not for the room you're in.
I forced it because I love the song. It just didn't work. And I was like, okay, if I stick it in between Ice Spice and whatever the next song would have been that always works in that room, I was like, I'll be okay. It's just that's going to be my gamble song. It was too late in that 70 to 150 set. It was too late in that set, and I should have been out of that set a song or two prior.
I think our crowds are just fickle. Like, they want what they want, and they want it when they want it. And because of that, I'm finding in my open format rooms, you just have to move really quickly. So, you're talking about the 140, 150 BPM stuff, which I love.
Yeah.
But like you said, we've been playing that higher, faster paced music a bit more here in Jersey because of the Jersey Club stuff. But now you're seeing it in EDM where 126 tracks are now 130 or 128 tracks are now 132. And we're seeing more techno and we're seeing more driving bass tracks. And the sound is definitely changing. I think in your particular situation, like you said, maybe it was just a song or two. And sometimes a song or two too much in one genre ruins your dance floor, maybe ruins your night kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like 1 a.m. and I took that chance. And the reason I took that chance in that room is because, like, with all the Nicki and Ice Spice and all of that stuff being in that 72 or 150, and I kind of like mess around with tempos a lot. So I'm playing a lot of those. You have to play a lot of those songs in that venue, particularly. You have to. There's no way around not playing any of those pop songs.
Right.
That's where I held on too long because it was like, all right, played all the pop stuff. That's what everybody wanted to hear. And then it was like, well, nobody wants to hear this girl. Then nobody knows that it's a Fine Day track in that room. So like, that was the killer. And it just made me realize, and this is when I emailed right after that song, I emailed our email and I'm like, I have no room. We don't have room as DJs anymore to have an off song. And if you do, you have to get out of it. I knew I had to get out of it. And I didn't have an escape plan. And that was the dagger for me. Like, it took about 35 seconds too long to get out of it. And I knew I was fucked at that point. And think about that. It's 35 seconds. That's all it was. It felt like an eternity to me. But I had to go and look. And I'm looking around for like 30 extra seconds. By the time I got out of it, it's like 35 seconds later. And too late.
Sometimes when I recognize that I maybe played one too many or I thought something like the crowd might like something and they just have zero reaction, I'll sometimes literally spin out of it, jump on the mic, be like, we're going to change it up real quick, and then hit. All right, we had a little technical difficulty there, but let's just jump back into the conversation. Right. What I was saying was, in those situations where I play maybe one track too many or something that's just not working whatsoever, sometimes I'll literally just spin out of the track, jump on the mic, and then hit something that I know will always work in the room. And maybe it's probably something completely different.
Right.
Because sometimes, like you said, you don't have those 30 seconds to like let a song play out. But I've also been in the spot where it's like, I don't know what to play. I didn't have a plan B for this, and you're scrambling, and you're like, oh, shit, now what?
I knew I was going to transition down from that track, but I don't think I had ever played it live before.
Yeah.
And I was in a position where I'm like, I don't even know what works out of this. I have an idea, obviously, for the BPM and the vibe, but like, I think I wanted to transition out, and it was failing so miserably that, you know, you get that gut feeling that where you're like, it's kind of like a freak out mode. Like, that's what was happening. It's the big disadvantage of me not DJing every weekend, because I will try like new stuff out, but like you need an escape plan. And like,
right.
And usually like if I'm DJing every weekend, like this weekend, I was like extremely familiar with every single song in my computer. But like when I'm coming off of like 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, it becomes harder to get out of stuff like that faster. You know,
you're just not thinking on your feet as quickly. That's what it is.
Right. It's that lack of practice. So, I mean, that's another good tip, guys. Like, always practice at home, because, you know, and always be extremely familiar with your library in case you get put in this scenario. You can get out of it quickly.
I think also maybe like having your prepare folder with a couple tracks just sitting there in case you need something. I like to build out my prepare folder. You know, I don't always play those tracks that I put in there, but maybe it is a good idea to just have like an emergency track in there for those particular instances.
Would you suggest? I'm a big user of transition tracks. Like, would you put?
I don't use any.
You don't use any.
With playing so much 70 BPM stuff now and Jersey Club, I just find that there's a lot of ways to get in and out of stuff, and then I've been literally using slam edits, which I know some people will probably hate to hear, but if I'm at 70 BPM and I want to get to 80 something, I'll either mix my way up or I'll just drop a slam edit and jump on the mic to intro whatever it's usually a big track that I'll use a slam edit for. And I'll jump on the mic and kind of transition that way.
Well, that's actually a good tip then. I mean, maybe a good tool would be to, you know, in your prepare folder, maybe a couple slam tracks, a couple transition tracks. And then this way, no matter where you are, you're able to get out quickly.
Yeah. I used to use transition tracks all the time. I hate them now. I don't know why.
Honestly, I'm not even going to lie. I use like the same 5.
Yeah.
I've been using the same 5 to 10
I
forever.
think that's why I hate them, because there was only a few that I really liked. So it's like I either have to make my own, do them live, or just not use them anymore.
Yeah, I at our event, I did a couple up and downs by myself, like you know, do them live, but it's still not comfortable enough to do them like in a club setting.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned like this 140, 150. I kind of want to talk about the sound and where, especially dance music sound, has kind of been going. And I know it reminds me of like being way younger and hearing like the Tiestos of the world and the trance stuff that was popular way back in the day. And like, it's interesting to see that come all the way back around, because that was like 20 years ago, pretty much, where this sound was popular, you know?
The biggest, so Tiesto and Paul Van Dyke and Paul Oakenfold, when we were in high school, were like the number 1, 2, and 3 DJs in the world every year. And they played trance. 135,
136 BPM.
They got all the way. Yeah. I think at the time that I was big into it, it was 140 to 140. 140 was pretty much predominant across the board. You had a couple like 72 BPM tracks that were in there as well. And then Tiesto started to bring it down to like 134, probably around like 2002, 2003,
I feel like that's when I got introduced to that world, for sure.
And he brought it down to like 134. But like when I really, really, really got into it, I would see Tiesto every single time he came to town, no matter what. And it was all 18 and over clubs at the time. So I was able to go all the time. And that was the predominant driving force of all, you know, house, quote unquote, house music at that time. You had another camp of people that looked down upon that music back then. The looking down upon other genres within the house world has been something that's gone on since the very beginning. Man, we're just killing it today.
I don't know what's going on.
Technical stuff. But we'll just continue anyways.
Yeah, keep going.
So that's something that's been going on within the house music community forever. And so there were those people that listened to 130 to 132 back then. But like that was kind of your bottom. 120s weren't really a big thing back then.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's funny. I was talking to Chubbs the other day. I'm like, we're listening to 128 BPM track. I'm like, this sounds
slow.
It sounds super slow and nothing that you could ever get away with playing right now. So there has been this huge jump into this.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it too. It's darker. It's faster. It's harder. I'm not sure how much it translates to like your top 40 world.
Yeah, it's hard.
I try and make it work. Sometimes it's super successful. Sometimes it's not. The places where you're playing like maybe 40 or 50% hip hop with EDM, it doesn't work necessarily. The places where you're playing a more EDM, electro, house, pop, vocal type set, I think you can get away with it all over the place because there's a ton of like 70, 75, whatever, 140, 150 style remixes and edits. And I've been making a lot of stuff in that style lately because I just love it. It's fun. It's energy. It's like instant energy.
I think it's where my sets it gets lost on my sets a little more because I'm more open format. So it doesn't always translate. Yeah. It feels very all over the place is probably the best way to describe it. Because like, okay, you're playing 100 BPM hip hop track or 115 BPM I'm a piano track to start your night. And then all of a sudden you're in a 150 dark tech place. It's strange, so I think that picking and choosing your spots and doing it in a way where it's like 3 songs max when you're in an open format setting and then moving out of it and then you can come back to it for a 3 or 4 song set again later on or multiple times depending on your set and your venue. I think that's probably the best way to go about it from an open format standpoint.
Yeah, I don't even in the EDM forward venues, I don't think you want to stay in that for super long. It's not a sit in this world all night kind of thing.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it's tiring. It's a great way to just tire out your dance floor.
You know what? It's kind of a point that I didn't bring up actually about the weekend. Both of my sets, my Birch set and my 626 night set, I looked up and I'm like, I am exhausting these poor people. And you have to understand when, like, yeah, you could keep energy and yeah, you can keep everybody singing along. And, I could do that for hours, but like the crowd can't, their ears and their energy just can't withstand that. You have to know when to get out of it, how to get out of it, send people to the bar if you need to, if you're in like a bar setting. Yeah. Not if you have a major dance floor. And just change people's ears up enough when you're getting very energetic.
I think even in a nightclub setting when you need to give people a break, there's ways to do it without totally killing the energy, but just not being in, like a huge EDM drop or a 70 BPM, whatever, techno track or something that's super driving and energetic and aggressive. Maybe you play like a 126 piano house version of something just to like pull it back a little bit. The vocal can be a little more sing-along-y and less aggressive as well, and that's kind of how you can pull that back too. But
I went to old school party classics, meaning like hip-hop party classics. So like, a Tipsy, stuff in that realm that was like, it really kind of offset the whole vibe. Yeah. Played 3 or 4 of those. People sang still a little bit. They were into it because it sounded different, and then built my way back up from there. So that's kind of how I handled it.
All right. I mean, we've kind of been talking about Halloween and we jumped all over the place, but I want to talk about this actually fills in with Halloween because we had so many gigs. Sometimes when we have so many gigs, if we really need a DJ, I tell Gary, I'm like, Gary, I'm about to put the bat signal out. And what that means is I will put on my Instagram like, hey guys, need a DJ for this date or whatever. Hit me up. And I did this recently, and I got 120 DMs maybe in a matter of whatever, 10 hours or 12 hours, however long I had the post up. I ended up deleting it. But what I really want to talk about is some of the responses that I got to putting the bat signal out and saying, hey, I need a DJ for this date. And then I'm going to get into how you guys can respond to something like this. And then beyond that, just like how to communicate with someone who might be your boss or is an owner of a venue or a manager of a venue, someone that has booking power, like the way that you speak to certain people that you're friends with is not the way that you speak to these other people. And let's run through it. I mean,
well, real quick, if you're being paid by somebody, right? I think that's really the biggest part of it. Like if somebody's paying you money to do a job and to do a service, right?
Yeah.
You're working for them at that point. You should be talking to them like you work for them.
In a professional manner.
Right. That's all. It's all about professionalism. It was realistically what this is about.
So I'm gonna read directly some of the responses. And I think, guys, if you're listening, we're probably not going to have video for this podcast. So this might be an audio only one. All right. So here are some of the Instagram responses. Me, let's work. I'm interested. Yes, sir. Yo, bro, let's do it. Like, and I just laugh because, like, you have to know that a lot of people are going to hit me up to book this gig. Why would I ever even respond to that? Why would I ever respond to that? When let me read the good responses. These are some of the responses that I were like, oh, I'm gonna hit this person back because they gave a professional adult response to someone who was looking to book a DJ. Hey, I'm free this date. My name's blank, and here's my website. You know, straightforward to the point. Hey, I was looking for a gig on blank. Here's my link tree. Hey, Cream, I'm unavailable, but I'd love to come to your next open decks. I heard about you and the open decks from blank DJ. Hey, my name is blank, and I'm an open format DJ who just recently moved to New York City. Before moving, I was working with Forward Hospitality in Cleveland as one of their residents. I just played Forward. Great little way to connect the dots. I've heard a ton about you and what you guys do, and I'd love to work with you. So, like, all of these people who made a response longer than one sentence or one quick word.
3 words.
Like, give me some information about you. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you work with that I might know? What venues have you worked at that I can connect with, that I can get an idea of what type of DJ you are? Where can I find more information about you? Like, I just thought it's mind-blowing to me that that's how someone who's looking to get booked, who maybe I know them, but it was a lot of random people.
You don't know them enough for them to respond to you in that fashion.
If it's one of our DJs we work with, sure, like that's fine.
Yeah,
we're not talking about that.
Yeah,
we know each other. We work together already. Yeah, that's okay if we work together already.
Right, especially if you're friendly and even if it's your friend that reaches out to you and you know them, but they might not work for you. Like, it's still okay to talk to somebody. Talk to your friend like that, right?
Yeah.
But like when you're trying to get a job with somebody and you don't know them, yo, bro is never, ever. Because listen, for you young guys that are listening to this, yo, bro, 10 years ago, you'd get smacked in the head for saying that to somebody because it was disrespectful.
Yeah.
I understand that times change and vernacular and slang changes, and that's okay, right? And we have to kind of try to keep up with it. But in a professional setting, it is never okay to use slang to try to get a job. Furthermore, if you then do get that job, right, and then you're looking to get paid, because this is what happens on my end, and you're looking to get paid, and I never met you before. I understand that you're working for our company, but there's 2 different owners here, and Cream might know who you are and have a little bit of a relationship, but if I don't know you at all and you've never met me, yo, bro, when am I getting paid? Texted to me with me not having your number, without like, hey, this is X, Y, and Z DJ. I worked at this venue on this date, just wondering what the payment process is. That would be the correct way to do it, not the, yo, bro, what's up with the payment for my gig that I played? I had 90 DJs out this week. Who the hell? How do I know who you are? Without any kind of introduction. It's incredible to me that people that think that this is okay, but at the same time, it doesn't shock me. You know, because we've dealt with enough people at this point where it's not shocking. It's not shocking because I used to deal with a lot of people in the teaching space. and the way that parents would talk to us as teachers was ridiculous. So it's kind of keeping a level of professionalism is just so important.
I think this is something that might be overlooked for some DJs, but I think it's a really important part of showing someone that you've been there before, you've done it before, you are easy to work with, you're clear, and you can communicate. And this can be, for texts, for emails, for DMs, this clear communication is really, really important. So if there's a job opportunity out there, in a clear, concise way, respond to that person. Why, what days you're available, what time you could work, why you want the job, how you heard about the gig. Like, there's just a lot of ways to insert a little something about yourself and just show that you're not just some random. The short responses are like the stereotypical. This is what I think how a DJ handles their business.
Right.
Whereas these other, better responses are, oh, this is a professional that I'm working with. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So I'm going to give you a quick story, and it's probably a nice watermark on like how to get asked back to work. So we booked a last minute DJ at one of our venues, and his responses were thorough, very professional, and I felt confident without knowing him personally or ever hearing him play. It was a low leverage DJ gig. And ever hearing him play, I felt confident about him walking into the room and handling the manager in a way that I was like, I'm not going to have a problem tonight.
Yeah.
This is going to be great. And before he played one song for Get Down DJ Group, he was going to get asked and hired back in some capacity unless he absolutely bombed the night, which he didn't. It was a no feedback is good feedback situation. And I was like, you know what? I want to use that guy again. Why? Because, you know what? There was good communication. He seemed like a smart guy, has good head on his shoulders, and he asked the right questions. Just do all of those things well, and you'll be thought about again without ever having the booker hear you play a song.
Totally agree. And we do that all the time.
We do.
Just in the communication with people that we're booking. Because sometimes, guys, we're booking people that we haven't heard DJ before.
It happens at our lower leverage venues often, but it's a good training ground to find out who the person is professionally and also as a DJ to get a little feedback on them.
This is a huge aspect of how we decide to bring DJs into Get Down.
Yeah.
Of course, the music is important, but all this other stuff is equally as important. Being a professional, understanding how to communicate, understanding how to handle yourself, and letting Gary and I know that we can trust you when you're around owners, investors, people that make decisions that can literally put hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of dollars in all of our DJs' pockets.
Right, and that's how we look at it, right? If you lose an account, like it's tens of thousands of dollars that gets lost across the board, across all of the guys. It's such a team effort, and that's why it's very important to do all of these things right, especially when you're in a situation working for a group, right? Because it's not just you that matters in that situation. It's not just your bank account that matters in that situation. It's all of the guys, whether it's looked at that way by the guys or not. That's realistically what it is. But yeah, I mean, you had the conversation last week that I think Zuzu was like, the music portion of it is only a percentage of the importance in DJing, right? Like, there's a heavy percentage of the marketing for him. And then, he probably has a team that has like a little bit, that can handle like a little bit of the professional side of it. But as an up and coming DJ, like, you are your team. You have to be professional. You have to be the PR team as well, and you have to be the public relations guys that reach out and talk, and you have to just think about it as a business, is what it comes down to. What
percentage of DJs have agents and management and people to do all this stuff for them? Very, very, very small percentage. 1%, the top 1% of the overall market. So, you have to do all this stuff, like Gary just said, and it's part of the game, and it's part of how you're perceived in the market, and it's a very important part of it. So, if it's something that you're maybe not as proficient in, you got to figure out a way to get better at it, for sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I thought we had put something out a while ago about like, kind of how to approach venues and whatnot. If I can find it, I'll throw it in the show notes.
We have some like I think we have sample DMs and sample emails of how to reach out to like a manager or booker for a gig.
Yeah, so if I can find that, I'll throw it in the show notes. It'd be super valuable for you guys, and just it could be like you could use it as a template, honestly, and it's just like insert name here and things like that.
I think just a few important things that I want to just reiterate that if you're reaching out to try and get a job from someone that you might want to include as a DJ, right? So a link to a live mix preferably would be amazing, especially if it's an open format gig, send an open format mix. If it's a house gig, send a house mix. Any notable places that you've worked that maybe that booker or DJ has either DJ'd or knows of, or that's reputable in the market. Something that would connect you to the person. Hey, Gary, we met at your open decks last month. Hey, Kareem, I met you at the DMP holiday party. Like, make the connection. Did we meet before? If we haven't, who are we friends with? Or who have you worked with that we work with?
Right.
That would ease my like
nerves.
Yeah, my nerves a little bit. Yeah. I'm friends with this DJ on your team. They said I should reach out to you.
That's a big one. We get a lot of those.
Like, that's a good one too, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so think about this, guys, as you're moving forward and you're communicating with people, and doing this the right way will be one of the quickest ways for you to book more gigs.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, I definitely take all of that advice, because that is extremely important. It'll make you go from, booking one gig successfully to booking 5 or 6 gigs successfully. And you will get asked back by that booker, because there will be more confidence instilled in who you are as a person, not just the DJ.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think we're going to wrap here. Before we go, I do want to promo Cream and Friends Edit Pack and Mix comes out this Thursday, so November 2nd. And I think by the time this podcast comes out, my little announcement of what other artists that are on the pack is going to be out. So, Cream and Friends Volume 3 is myself, DeVille, CRG, and Cases, which I'm super excited about, because those are 3 DJs and producers whose music that are heavily in my sets.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Cases lately, and DeVille lives close to me. We got to line up a little lunch with him in a couple weeks, so that'll be fun. I'm excited for the pack.
I'm hyped for the pack. Aggressive, hard, peak hour shit. So
it sounds like this pack's going to get me in trouble during my sets.
Look for it this Thursday. Check it out. The Hype Edit link will be out there. Show notes, Cream Instagram page, wherever you would go to download this. SoundCloud for sure. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening to this episode. We'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, guys. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Get Down podcast. If you enjoy our show and find the topics entertaining or helpful in any way, we would greatly appreciate if you could subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you listen to it. We want to help more DJs, and subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show is the best way for us to do that. We appreciate all the love so far. Thanks for listening, guys.